When it comes to your inner journey of healing and growth, no matter the method you use, the vital point is to practice. If you're ready to transform your life and live with clarity, connection, and wholeness, then you're in the right place. Welcome back to The Vital Point. I'm your host, Jonathan Schechter. I'm a breathwork facilitator, integration coach, and human. The goal of this show is to inspire you to take action for yourself, whether you're taking the first step on your journey of healing and self-discovery, or you're already a seasoned traveler. The truth is, you have the capacity to transform and bring your intentions and dreams into the world, and there's never been more access to so many incredible modalities that can help you on your journey. This podcast will help you learn simple methods you can use to change your life, with guided practices and interviews with practitioners who are doing the work. I want you to feel confident and inspired to take the next step on your own pathway to integration and wholeness, because the answer is found in the action. That's the vital point. Today's episode is pretty cool. I got another return guest. Adam Heaps is a friend that I met online and is a friend of mutual friends. And the last time he was on the show, he was just getting started with this really cool project with another brother of his, Mike Canales. And together they are the Energy Stack. And they have a lot of really cool in-person events in Utah. They do men's retreats. They even recently launched a virtual men's council. Their in-person events are mixed, so you don't have to be just a dude to show up. They're for everyone. But I really like that they're really leaning into the men's work and doing the virtual men's council, where they talk about relationships, business and finance, shadow work, joy and purpose. They're also regularly running men's retreats, so check them out, the Energy Stack, if you want to connect with some really good people and do some great work as far as that inner work for men. And if you're in the Utah area, Salt Lake City specifically, check out their in-person events. They are mixed modality. They've got some breath work. They've got hape. They do ice baths. The ice baths are really one of their things, and we get into that a little bit in this episode. They're super dedicated to it. Not only, I think, doing cold plunging, but also like jumping in the rivers there in Utah, which tip of my cap to them. That's some pretty cool, hardcore stuff. And I know they've asked me to like visit, and I'm like, I'm going to make sure that it's not in the winter, maybe like spring or summer, because, man, the idea of jumping in that lake is a little chilly. But it's a really cool episode. They start out with a little guided musical meditation practice, and we get into, talking about brotherhood and men supporting each other, and having authenticity and courage, and just the way that we show up in life. And I am constantly inspired by Adam, constantly inspired by what he's doing, and so I was really excited to meet Mike as well. I really enjoyed this episode, and I think that you will too. Before we jump in, if you haven't already, come join the Blue Magic Alchemy Collective on School. It's the new home, the new hub for Blue Magic Alchemy, and you can find all the things that you need there. There's a calendar for all the live events. There's recorded and guided practices and courses. There's a message board so that you can connect with other alchemists. And it's free to join, so come check it out at school.com/Blue Magic Alchemy. That's school.com/Blue Magic Alchemy. Really great stuff happening there. Now, without further ado, please enjoy this episode with Adam Heaps and Mike Canales, the Energy Stack. Welcome back to the Vital Point podcast. Today, I have two very amazing special guests, Adam Heaps and Mike Canales. Together, they work with the Energy Stack in Utah. Adam's been on the show before, and just had such a great time with him. So it's really a pleasure to get to chat with both Adam and Mike. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So we've got so much stuff to get into, and it's always just a nice place to start instead of just jumping into the conversation, to open the show with a little bit of a practice to help you in the audience drop in, as well as, us here just kind of getting on the same vibe, even though we're, a few 100 miles away. We can just hang out and drop into the same vibration together. And this is really what the show is all about, right? The simple practices that can transform your life. And so Adam and Mike are nice enough, kind enough to give us a little taste of what the energy stack is all about. So whenever you guys feel good.
Okay. Thanks, Jonathan. Let's do it. All right. Well, if you're listening in a space where you can close your eyes, close them. And if you are in a space where they need to stay open, stay present. But I want you to start to connect into your breath, finding its natural rhythm, feeling it as it moves through the nostrils, maybe through the mouth, down the throat, opening the lungs. As you exhale, you feel the sinking of the chest, the air moving again through the nostrils. No need to change it, just dropping in exactly how it is. Listen to the sounds around you. No need to assign a label. Just allow them to flow through your body, into your ears. I want you to, on the next inhale, elongate your inhale, bringing it all the way in, moving your diaphragm, filling up nice and slow, and hold it for just a moment at the top, and then let it out. And as it gets to the bottom and you sink, go ahead and bring the air right back in, nice and big, stretch it out just a little bit more this time. Feeling those waves of breath just gain in a little bit of momentum. Just pulling in a little more oxygen all the way to the top. And as you do this, feeling that life force energy fill you up all the way down to your toes. Sigh it out. Bringing it in, bringing in gratitude into the heart space. Gratitude for another day. Another opportunity to experience this life. As you bring in more air, you fill up. You sigh it out, release any tightness in your back, your shoulders, jaw. Another big inhale in. Sigh it out. Feeling your body sitting, standing, wherever you are. And your breath comes back into its normal rhythm. And as we continue to listen, go about our day, we remember that we have that breath, that tool we can tap into. We can always pause and listen to our surroundings, get grounded. Be here, where we create, where we experience. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you.
That sounded beautiful.
It did sound beautiful, and I feel much better, much more ready for a podcast now.
We're here.
Nice.
I appreciate that. No, it's life, right? Like some days are just magic and like everything flows easy, and then some days there's those blocks that you come up against, and today's one of those days for me. So it was like, okay, I gotta shift gears and get into podcast mode, and I always really appreciate those practices because it just helps me drop in as well. So thank you guys.
Welcome.
So let's talk about the energy stack a little bit. Is each offering like the same type of program? Do you guys do different practices in each one? And like, how do you decide what goes into the stack?
Well, we have our fundamental modalities, which is breathwork, sound bath. We serve rape too, so we do a little rape ceremony, which is really cool. We open up the directions, really set intention, get really intentional with what we're doing, and then we cold plunge. We have a bunch of healthy foods afterwards, and it kind of turns into a nice community gathering afterwards. We can have a little drum circle.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget the sound. There's music throughout. There's a full sound bath, which is like, I would call it the extended sound journey. We love music and sound. Those are our core for sure.
Yeah.
And then we like to mix in different modalities, bring in different friends from the community, and we have such a cool community here and lots of people with lots of cool offerings, and so we like to mix in a little Qigong.
Yeah.
Josh Stewart does some Qigong for us. We got Carl come and lead Qigong. We do, it's had some yoga before.
Yep, had some yoga, some Ayurvedic yoga. My wife does a voice activation with everyone. So instead of speaking out your intention
and your name,
even in your name, we just go around and just make a sound, whether it's a om, and then we do it collectively at the end. And it's just a different way of just introducing your frequency to the space and to everyone else. So it's pretty special.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And like I was saying before we hit record, I really admire the way that you guys are showing up for your community, helping to build that community, and everything that I see online. And, when I talk to Adam, it just seems like it continues to get stronger, bigger, and just really, really happy to see something like this being offered, especially from two men. It seems like maybe I'm biased, but it always seems like these type of events draw in the feminine really easily, but men need this type of activity and these type of environments as well. So I'm just always really happy to see you guys doing your thing there.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I do have to say, like, our wives are a huge, huge part of this. And it is sort of unique in how, like, the idea came out of our relationship and our conversation and our drive, and we've put the action to it. But our wives, our partners, are so critical in feeding us and being there and adding their magic, and it's 100% a collaboration with them. But because we have this thing, and because we did do that, we do have our men's piece that we like to do and push. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that was said.
You got to plug the
It's only there. It wouldn't exist without them. So
usually, it's his wife's right there and my wife's. When we started, and then we have all our helpers, and like he said, we change out. We have people that are really good at the native flute, and we have this one guy, Scott. We've got Jeremy. He's a staple too, Jeremy Robinson. And Matt comes in with this big gong, and so we always switch it up. We definitely like to switch up the offering, but the main staple is breathwork, rape, and cold plunging. So, and then we'll branch off and we'll add little things. And the sound. And we do live
the
music
sound is
through
just
the whole
a given.
breathwork.
It's just there.
We do Wim Hof. We do 5 rounds of Wim Hof, and which is intense. And so, we have a bunch of drummers and djembes and native drums going. So really pushing the air and the breath. And so it's really, really cool. It's fun. It's a fun event.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a great date night. That's what we notice. A lot of couples come because we usually do them on a Friday or a Saturday night. And we get a lot of couples coming in, and what a beautiful way to open up your heart and connect to not only yourself, but your partner and then the community as well. So it really is special.
It's fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, mentioning how, important your partners are, and also that, that you're seeing that coupleship come in. It's like such an important thing within a relationship, right? That two people are kind of doing the same type of work, or at least interested in that, because there's so many relationships where, like, say maybe one person has some sort of awakening or psychedelic experience and then starts to like go off on a different path. And it might create a rift in the relationship, or cause the relationship to kind of spread out rather than kind of come together. So yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, I do ice baths and breath work with my partner, and, we journey together, and that, I think there's so much strength in that, of, supporting each other, and also like really being able to relate to what the other person's going through. It's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, well, I think it's not only is it fun, but like you said, it's an inward journey. When
Yeah.
you're doing a rape ceremony and breath work, 5 rounds for 30 minutes, and you're sitting in a cold plunge, and then you have this beautiful sound bath at the end with sound bowls and koshi bells, and it's a beautiful way to see everybody connect, and it's just a really, really beautiful container. I think it's a lot cooler than a movie night, than going to see a movie. It's an option now for a date night. Instead of just going to dinner, like, we have food, we feed everybody. We got people that cook like home cooked soups and really clean, healthy eating, and so it's fun.
Yeah, the community really shows up, and that's a really important part of it. So yeah, we're glad we have such a cool community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did the idea for the energy stack come from? Like, how did you guys start it up?
You
Want me to tell the story?
Yeah.
We'll tell the story.
I like how you tell it. I'll add pieces.
Sure.
You go.
So we were still getting to know each other, and there was 3 couples, and we went down to southern Utah, outside of Escalante. It was at Coyote Gulch.
Yep.
We did a backpacking trip out into, you got to hike out into the Red Rock and kind of rappel down into the canyon there. We went down with 3 couples. Beautiful. Incredible. And we took some psychedelics. We took some mushrooms and, some cannabis. And so we were on a journey, and we were in the creek there, me and Adam, we're still getting to know each other. And, we were just talking like, what is it you're looking to manifest? We're in our journey. And he was like, I've been really thinking about doing some type of breath work gathering. I was like, yeah, man. I'm like, I play the handpan a little bit. I had just started playing the handpan. And I'm like, yeah, and we can cold plunge. You're the cold plunge guy. He's like, yeah, we can cold plunge. We can do live music. We can serve hape. Mm-hmm. And so, like, we had this epiphany, and we're...
The thing was like, we had this cool conversation about all these ideas, and we were like, yeah. And then the part that took it into action was you were like, well, all right, we can host it at my house. And then that's where the combo was like, okay, cool. Let's talk about pin this for later.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, we went off on our weekend, and we had an incredible time, but we like spent that moment kind of like discussing something that would mean something for us to exist in the world that we would like to do together, full of all these things that are important to us, to help others find those things too, if they are meaningful to them. And so then we hit it up, a week or so later.
Well, yeah.
It was like,
We didn't talk for about a week, or we just went back into our normal work lives, and it was just still sitting with me, and so I reached out to Adam. Like, I think I sent you a text. Like,
I think I text you.
yeah, did you text me?
Yeah. We were both on it, bro. It was like we wanted it.
We reconnected. Like, hey, remember that conversation we had down in Coyote Gulch?
Yes, let's go.
It's like, hey, look, let's do that. So yeah, it started right here in my living room, and we're actually hosting one here tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And yeah, it started off with just me playing a handpan and you guiding breath.
Yeah.
Just kind of like what you guys experienced. And it was like, what, 12 people that were in the first one?
I think we had 15 or something like that. Yeah, we've always had a really good community already around us and connected, and good friends that showed up. And yeah, it was beautiful, man. And we've been, what are we, a year and a half now?
Over. Yeah. That was July of 22. And so we outgrew the space, and we ended up moving into a studio, which can fit about 40 people on mats. And so that's where we do it monthly now. It's a place called the Herc here in Salt Lake. And they weren't available this weekend, actually, so we just decided to bring it back
to the roots.
Yeah, we haven't done it here in over a year.
It's been a minute.
And we're what, 5 people over? We don't even know how we're going to fit everyone in the living room.
Squeeze them.
Yeah, people are going to have to get close tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's how it started. Now we're at the Herc, and, we host about 40-ish people.
Yeah,
every
30,
time.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a balance too, because I miss those old small ones. There's something that's like so intimate and cozy, but we have a cozy setting. I feel like it's good, so we play with that number. It's fun.
Yeah. So that it sounds like it draws into a question that I had kind of formulating, which was, how do you stay in that space of like, we're just going to do this without knowing the answers to everything or knowing exactly what we're going to do. I think so many people get kind of caught up in that. I got to know exactly what I'm going to do before I do it. I got to have everything perfect. So how do you stay in that flow where you're just like, okay, we're just going to put it out, and however it goes it's going to go. Right.
Well, I relate it to, I started a barbershop 8 years ago. I have 3 locations now, and that's where it birthed for me. It was like, I didn't know what I was doing when I opened up my first location, and that's what I was telling Adam. It's like, we're just gonna figure it out. We're just gonna, and it's just evolved, and naturally the universe just supported us, and it's there. I think there was a stack where we weren't even playing music. Like, we had so many helpers, and we were like just guiding breath and like barely even playing. It's crazy how it evolved, but it was just starting. The saying in business is, what's the hardest part in starting a business? And it's starting. Right. And so that's why I was like, dude, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, you knew all along, and that's why I called that out. It's like when we were sitting in the river, the question that really was the action was Mike saying like, okay, let's host it at my house. And I think, for me, it's like always being okay being the student. Like, just because I can be the teacher and I can play that role doesn't mean that I'm not the student anymore. And it's okay for this to be a new thing we're doing, and like, we'll figure it out. We know how to hold space, and we know all these components, but we didn't know how it was going to all work together. But we trusted, and you inspired some action because you'd seen it before, and now we just try and really stay inside that zone. Yeah. Collectively.
Yeah. It just naturally evolved.
Yeah.
We just trusted. And honestly, we didn't know what we were doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, we still, there's so much to learn still. Yes, we have this experience of the action we've taken, but we only know what we've done so far, and we're going to continue to learn as we move forward. So, yeah, it's like, what a beautiful realization,
Well, it's crazy, too, because, we hadn't even talked about doing a men's retreat. And we're doing our second men's retreat next month, February 22nd.
And that was never the initial goal.
That was never.
It just came out of it.
Yep, that's exactly right. And it was just like what I was telling Adam, like, I didn't plan on owning multiple barbershops. The first one was the goal, and then, It's like you have to walk through that door, and then in that room there's other doors. And it's like, oh, I can do this. I can do a men's retreat now. And so it's just still evolving. Now we're looking into doing a men's container, a men's group. So yeah, we're still working on that. The details out on that, but
Yeah, we'll have 'em. Yeah, we got it. We'll figure it out.
yeah, we'll figure it out. Exactly. We'll figure it out.
Nice. Yeah, it's such a good attitude. And it sounds like you guys both, like the synergy of you working together, like that you each have strengths and things that you bring that kind of help the other person.
Yeah, and I will say this man right here has taught me about pushing others and seeing the light in others and telling them the light that you see and how much power that can give to somebody, or that can be remembered in another person when that's spoken to them. And I've always felt your full support, and I try and give that back to you 100%. And I think that's what allows us to flow so well, is just 100% trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
And admiration.
Yeah, I just saw Adam in all his talents, and sometimes those doubts would pop up, and I'm like, bro, you're an amazing musician. He's already guiding breath, and he needed just a little push, and then he was pushing me back too, like, hey, why don't you try, let's expand on the djembe, or let's start,
You lead
creating
breath now too, like we do.
Yeah, now we go back and
get a
forth.
switch.
Yeah, he does breath one event, and I'll do the next month, and we just go back and forth, and that just evolved too. It was like, hey, I want to try to guide breath, and
Yeah.
that's just it's still evolving. The energy stack is still definitely, but it's fun. It's fun. It's a passion project. Is all it is. I mean, we're not paying our mortgage doing this. It's
Right.
we're having fun doing it. We're bringing people together, and we're doing things that we're passionate about, and that we love. It's just pure heart project, and yeah.
Where do you think that seeing the light in someone else, like when did that start for you? And how do you continue to cultivate that?
Well, I got sober when I was 29 years old. 2009, I moved out to Utah. That's what brought me here. And, I was complete junkie. I was addicted to opiates. And so I came here with a backpack. I came here with nothing. I'd lost custody of my kids at the time, went through a divorce, and, I was just at rock bottom. And so, I rebuilt my life really around Alcoholics Anonymous. I got sober in AA, and I got to see not only like myself, my own personal story, but like the people I was around that were really just creating a life from scratch, from rehab. We were living in sober living. I was riding tracks and the bus here in Salt Lake for the first 2 years. Yeah, I couldn't get a license because I had 3 DUIs, and I had to wait a while, and so that just showed me that I proved to myself anything's possible. Like if I can create a life of around passion, and haircutting is still a passion of mine. Anyone can do it, and I did it from nothing, and so. And Adam was nowhere in that place at all. I mean, he's a successful family man, and so I think some guys just need a little bit of a push, especially from another man, from another healthy masculine. Not to call myself healthy, but somebody that's done some work. My father wasn't around much. He left when I was 7, so I struggled with the same thing, with having good, strong male figures in my life. And come to find out, that's pretty common, and so I feel like I get something out of that by helping other guys. I really do, and I sponsored guys in Alcoholics Anonymous for over 10 years, and so that was a big piece of it too, seeing people get sober and helping them, and just like another man helped me. I had a sponsor, still my sponsor to this day, and so, that's kind of where the birth of seeing the light, like anybody can change their life. Anybody can really step into their power and evolve.
Wow. That's a great story. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And what a journey that, you've taken. And look how it's just rippling out and continuing to ripple out. That's fantastic.
Yeah, well, like, I respect Mike so much, and to hear him see me was empowering. And we would always have these cool conversations. Like when we met, I knew we were brothers because we would like drop way deep in within the first 2 minutes about like some like really quantum realm, the way I think is bringing my reality towards me, kind of like I close my eyes and open them again, and all my dreams have come true. And like we would connect in that space, and we just got it. We spoke the exact same language. So to hear him, like to see somebody that I respect so much bounce that back, and then I bounce it back, and then we were like, whoa, okay, we just it's incredible to be able to share that, and then it multiplies and it bounces around and it comes back, and it's a fun thing to play around with. It's a different form of energy in this world,
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. We started the energy stack within just a few months of meeting each other.
Yeah.
It was just like the universe, and we've talked about this. The universe just like brought us together, and
Through
it
our
was
wives.
it's like we're supposed to do something together. I don't know what it is, and
Yep.
then here we are. Yeah, it was just one of those things. Like I know when I first met him, the first night I met him, I was like I felt like I knew him. It was one of those
Yeah.
interactions. Like do I?
remind me
Yeah, I'm like, do I? I've never met you before. Like, and so yeah, we just clicked, and the chemistry is definitely there, and and like. Adam's got so many strong points. Like our Instagram page is all him. Our website, all our back of the house stuff. I mean, he does all of that stuff, and really artistically, really beautifully. And so like Adam's a major piece of, the energy stack.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Like all the graphics, all our logos, he makes all that stuff.
It's amazing. See,
Yeah.
those strengths coming together and helping each other. I love it.
Absolutely.
Just doing what we love to do.
Yeah.
You
I'm like, do you need help with any of that? He's like, nope, I got it. I'm like, oh, good, because you're way better at it than I am.
I mean, I feel the same way. Sometimes I'll like see something that Adam posts and I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. And then I'll like send him a message and he's like, yeah, it's just like a little thing I whipped up, It's just like, no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like, we'll figure out our dates for the upcoming months. And like the next day, like he's got all the files, all the logos, all the graphics already made. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it, and I'll just say, like, I am getting to do what I love so much, and there are times when I turn it into my own little job of like it's my checklist and all the things I've got to do and blah blah blah. But it's like those are all the things I want to do, and so it works. It's passion.
Yeah.
I just can't stop. I want to art. I want to create, and that's what we are doing. And it's not just like I have to create this because I have this event that I have next week, and it's something I have to do. It's like all of life is creating a vibe of like, here's this thing we're doing, or here's how today was, or it's an energy that is in every step. It's in everything that we do, and that's what the message we're trying to say is like, it's all about the choices in your life that make it special. And when you love what you're doing, then good shit happens. So just keep doing that. If it feels really good and you're getting something out of it, then that's the key. That's how you know.
Yep.
So thank you for the kind words.
Yep. And that was the whole I think catalyst into 2024, after having 2023 doing a stack every month and doing our first retreat last year, was like, okay, let's put a little more energy into the energy stack. And that's when we really
can do more.
Yeah, we can do a little bit more, because we were selling out our events, and our first retreat got full in like 5 days or something like that. And now we've got even a bigger space for our next retreat. And we're creating this new men's container, and we're just really what we're doing more apparel this year as well. So I mean, we have all these plans to really just to expand on the energy stack. We're excited.
Yeah.
We're excited about
Yep.
2024.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's beautiful. And, it's, so for me, there's something about, when I was doing my breathwork training with neurodynamic, there was this lesson about, when you see things, like anything is possible. And when you see the things that you want, or that, your dreams, your goals manifesting around you, it's a sign that it's possible for you too. And that the closer those things get, it's like the closer that energy is, right? Like you might see, someone in another country, or like someone, with 1 million followers on Instagram, this huge audience doing like a breathwork retreat. And, and you're like, oh, I could never do that because they have 1 million followers, but you can. But those things start to get closer and closer to you. And I see that when I look at you guys, there's like, I have admiration, and, I'm excited for you. And the other piece of that sort of that lesson was that we always have the opportunity to either celebrate that, or, to close ourselves down, to like, to give into fear, to be like, oh, well, I could never do that, or to like hate on somebody because of their success or what, you see them doing, rather than being like, yeah, this is awesome. They're doing it, and I'm really happy for them. And this is an example, like a mirror to me that I can do it too. So, if no one else is going to give you flowers, I definitely want to, because I appreciate what you're doing. And it's something that I learn from, because every once in a while, I see what you guys are doing. I might feel like a little ping of jealousy come up, like, oh man, these guys are killing it. They're doing so well. But I see it as this reflection of, man, this is an example that I can also do this. I can bring this into my life. I can manifest those dreams in the same way that you're talking about. So I appreciate the message that you're putting out there.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for saying that. I think, like to even take that one step deeper is, and this is what we're talking about, is like what energy am I putting out into the universe about my manifestations if when I see what I want, I feel disgust towards it? Like that's an energetic dissonance where I'm saying, bring it towards me. And then when I see it, I'm like, ugh, because I'm feeling that jealousy you're speaking of. And so remembering that universe doesn't speak in language of like mine or yours or this or ego. It just knows that here's the thing, here's the energy. And if I want to maintain that good relationship with that thing that I want, I have to maintain it as I see others do it too, because it's the same resonance that I'm pulling in. And, it's like, it works for anything that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the biggest piece really for myself and my own personal experience with manifesting anything is you got to take the action on it. You got to actually do it. And that was the biggest piece. There in the beginning when we were talking about it, I said we just got to set a date. Like when none of us had breathwork training, nothing, like, so we set a date for our first event about 3 or 4 weeks out, maybe a month out. And we're like, hey, now that we've announced it, we started preparing for it, started structuring it. And, that made it real. The date made it super real. Is that better?
How's that?
Was it dark?
Yeah, there you go.
So,
I go through the same thing around this time of day.
Yeah. And I appreciate that, because that's what took the psychedelic experience that could have just been like any other and made it, that was our integration.
Yep.
The energy stack was our integration. We took this beautiful idea that was like bloop, that came in, that we just stumbled upon, and we did something about it in our real life.
Yep.
And that's why it worked, because it came from that space of pure creativity, and we took real action in this realm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems so easy when you're talking about it, but I think that's a place that so many people get stuck. Is it's like it seems so clear, and so like the insight is so clear, the vision is so clear in that expanded state, but then coming back home and wanting to take that actions where the block comes in, where the resistance comes in. So
that's what the real fear is.
Right. Yeah. What are the things that you guys do as far as like a practice to overcome that fear, to work with that fear?
Plunge. Plunge.
Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a daily plunger. He's a daily plunger, and I mean, if to me a strict plunging practice, it's like, man, you're doing something really hard every day, because there's not a day that goes by that you don't have that dialogue in your head. Or like, man, I just don't want to do this right now, especially in Salt Lake right now. Right. I mean, I could turn I got like what, 2 feet of snow on the car
Steep
right there.
Outside, yeah, it's snowing actively.
And yeah, so
cold.
Yeah, to me, plunging is a great way. I sit with Hape a lot too as well. Really ground in with that tobacco medicine, and so that helps me. I exercise. I'm one of those guys that I stay pretty active
in your body too. I think that's where a lot of these practices lead us, and that's why exercise is such a good one for so many people, because it gets them inside of their body. Breathwork was like that for me, and cold plunge. Those are sort of the things that help me experience this. But I think I'll also add to like learning how to be comfortable in the unknown, like what Mike's saying about like, well, I didn't know how to start a business, I just had to figure it out, and a lot of times we don't know how things are going to get to us, and we do take a lot of actions in order to give ourselves a false sense of comfort that every 2 weeks I'm going to get a check, or every time I turn around I'm going to get this response, or if I say this I'll hear this back. And it's like, it's okay to not know what you're doing. It's okay to figure it out on the fly. We're actually always kind of doing that, and the universe is being held up, and we're just assuming that the next moment's going to be like the one before. But in reality, like, we're always in this moment of everything could change at any moment and any time. And getting comfortable with that allows you to do the shit that scares you so that you can overcome that. Yeah. It's like, get over your false sense of security and just realize that it's okay to be nervous and new and try shit.
And be uncomfortable. Yeah. And be in discomfort. Like that's what plunging does for me. It like trains my mind to be in discomfort. Mm-hmm. And it's like, any breakthrough I've ever had is facing that. It's facing the fear, facing the unknown. And on the other side, it's just like the universe just starts to boom, open up. Mm-hmm. And it was just like the barbershop. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm 8 years in. I'm still figuring it out.
But you know more than you did when you started.
I know a whole lot more than I did when I started.
Yeah, there's what's that saying? Like the expert has failed more times than the beginner's tried.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
You just got to get in there and do it, right?
Yeah. And you show up, Jonathan. How do you get through those moments of fear? What's your go-to?
I feel like it's changed. Like as of right now, it's like connecting with the fear and like really like letting myself feel it as much as I can. Just that's where the somatic practices have been so powerful for me, because I feel like for a long time it was the mental side of it. And definitely I can relate to the cold plunge that, what you guys are saying. Like, I'm constantly telling people, like, there's not, just because I've been doing it for so many years doesn't mean that like it's any easier. It doesn't mean that like I get up in the morning and I'm like, oh boy, I'm really excited to do this.
Sometimes
like it's
that happens, but most of the time,
right.
Most of the time it sucks.
Those are good days.
Yeah.
Those are good days.
It does happen.
It's rare, but it does happen.
Yeah. But like lately for me, it's been just feeling gratitude that I've I can lean into fear that maybe a year or two ago, like I would have turned away from. And just the beauty in that, like it's kind of sucks when I'm going through it, but I feel so good afterwards of just like letting myself almost get washed away, overcome with whatever the sensations and the emotions are that come with that. And then like coming out the other side and feeling, I don't know, I guess cleaner in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with the more time I prove to myself the process of being uncomfortable and facing that fear, it's like I can look back and like, dude, I've done this so many, and it's the same bundle of fear and stories and all that I have to go through, and it's like, oh, here we are again. Here's another. Here we are at this doorstep again. Okay, let's open it up. Let's go.
Yeah. But do you find it's different each time? Like the way I've related to it is almost like if you were looking at it from two dimensions, it would be like a spiral. But if you were looking at it from like 3 dimensions, you could see that there's like a height to it too. So it's like there's a spiraling, you're coming back around to maybe the same fear or the same types of sensations, but you're coming at it from a different place, and you have different, energy and different tools to like work with that. And like, yeah, you got over one level. And so the next time it comes around, the universe is like, oh, cool. Now you're ready for this next thing,
Yeah. There's always more layers. It's going up and around, and like each pass is like through a new dimension and spiral into another. That's like this. It never ends. It's always there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that you bring in gratitude. And I think that's kind of what you're saying too, is like, as I overcome it, I remember what I'm capable of, and I get to pause and sit with myself and remember what I am and what I'm capable of. And if I'm aligned, then usually everything that needs to happen is going to happen, and we keep taking the steps. And I think that's an important thing, to sit and remember the gratitude and feel grateful for what we've accomplished on our own. We are grateful for our support team here, the guardian angels, the invisible helpers, the people that came before us. Like all of it is supporting us to get here, to do these things that we need to do, each of us in our lives. And so I love that you brought that in. Thanks. That's a really powerful tool.
Yeah. Not only like, say like a lot of people will say, oh, I write down 10 things that I'm grateful for, every day and things like that. Like that's important, but also just allowing myself to really feel. When I feel that gratitude, when it comes up organically, like let me pause and breathe into this and really notice what that feels like in my body, where I feel it, and like let myself truly like receive it and like take it in, so that in those moments where I don't feel it, I can kind of come back to that. I can remember like, oh yeah, this is inside of me. It's always around. I'm just choosing what I'm paying attention to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I've heard it said before that like, thought and emotion is like the language of the metaphysical realm, and action is the language of the physical realm, and gratitude is a feeling. So the act of gratitude is pausing and opening the heart, and it like brings them both together so you can feel it in your body, this thing that exists, in the ethereal. And yeah, it is. It's just a feeling. There's nothing to do. I just experience it.
And at the same time, like you're saying, there's the action, right? Like there's nothing to do, and you still got to take the action at the same time, right? Like there's the paradox and the beautiful part of this whole thing.
Yeah. Life. Thank you, life.
Yeah. We're just going to pause for a second to thank life and, feel good. And yeah, exactly. Exactly that. I hope if you're listening to the podcast that you heard that. And if you're watching it, just, we all just kind of spontaneously took a nice deep breath, took a moment to receive. That's a beautiful thing. I think you guys are a good source for for this question, since we've been talking about it a little bit. What would you say to someone that's never taken an ice bath that's interested in starting to do cold plunging? Like, what's a good way to get started?
I would be like, is there something that you're wanting to do and you're not doing? You know, I mean, it's let's look at the baseline of just fear itself. What are you holding? I think everybody has something, myself included, where I have some narrative, some story of why I'm not doing it. And the ice bath is real time. To me, an ice bath is mind, body, and spirit. It's all three, and you're touching all four elements. You got your air because you got to breathe through it. You got your fire because you got to handle it.
It burns.
You get grounded. You got the earth right in your body, and then you got the water. So like it's like to me like you're touching so much in an ice bath, and holding that intention of what I'm procrastinating on, the promises I'm not keeping to myself. Like that's what I tell when I guide people in their first bath. I'm like, bring an intention in. Bring it in, hold a prayer right while you're doing it. And you know, they have an experience, and you know, that's what I do when I sit in it, because it's a great way to release, to recharge, to reset. It's all there.
Yeah, I like that. I'll second that and add to it. And I think it is. It's like I do the same thing. It's almost like I still take time to write in my journal and express with words, but I bring those intentions into the cold plunge, and because it's a reminder all the time of what I'm capable of, because it is always hard, like we were saying. Like it's always hard, and there are days where I sit there with my towel on, like about ready to go outside for 45 minutes, like thinking of all these, and I finally end up going and I do the thing. But it is something to remind me of what I am capable of, how powerful I am when I make a choice, when I think I can do something, when I resist the urge of the natural mind to just chill, bro. You can do hard things. And then I bring the prayer in, or the gratitude, or whatever I need in that moment. And it's all there. And I think it's just a beautiful way to charge your energy body and reset it. And I like what you said. It's mental health, it's physical health, it's spiritual. It does so many things. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
On those days when you procrastinate, do you also have that thought like I do, where it's like, if you would already have been done if you could just stop thinking about it.
Yes. Well, that's the other thing too, is like there's no excuse. Where else can I get a 250 hit of dopamine naturally inside of my body in 5 minutes just by sitting there and enduring a little bit of pain?
Yep.
Like, and I'm not saying that 250 hit of dopamine because like I'm trying to chase a high all the time, but like life is stressful and there's lots of things. So to be able to start my day with like, I know how to give myself some self-love and use that as a tool to sustain me. It's so simple. So yeah, I do that. And that's a lot of times what gets me in is like, all right, this really isn't that long of an activity. It's only
right.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, especially when you're going through hard times. I mean, I have a son right now struggling with some mental health issues, and you know, it's been heavy this last 2 weeks, and I didn't know I was going to be relying on the cold plunge as much as I do to help me get through this time right now, and it's been a lot of help to get through it. I mean, before it was just I was doing a 30-day challenge. You know, now it's just evolved into like, whoa, I'm holding intention. I'm working through all kinds of fear and clearing a lot of stagnant energy and getting my daily reset and resetting my nervous system. And so much more than just enduring 3 minutes in an ice bath.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll just last thing I'll say is there are a lot of things in this world that try to get us to draw our attention into it in order for us to feel better. Many things, systems, people, where there's a bajillion of them. Cold plunge, we're sitting here like talking about cold plunge, but the thing about the cold plunge is that I am the one with the power to do that, and I remember that every day. And each of us has that opportunity, and that's the thing. That's why it's powerful, because it helps me remember that I get to create my life. I can make my choices.
Oh,
Yeah. And for those in the audience listening, these guys are definitely practicing what they preach, because I not only have I seen you, with in a bath or like in a tub, stuff like that, but you're out there, at least once a week in the, in the lake and in Utah in the snow. And like, man, every time I see that, I'm just so amazed, and like my hat's off to you, like I know what it's like to sit in a bathtub full of ice, or, a chest freezer or something like that. But that running water is another level. It's another kind of beast.
Yeah, it is. Mother Nature has so much power, and I think what I'll say about the river plunges, Mother Nature is so beautiful in those settings, but really what makes that so special is the community. It's the people that show up, and the conversations and the support and the seeing each other's light and cheering each other on, and showing up in a place where I don't give a shit what you do for work or where you've been or what you were doing yesterday, or it doesn't matter, because we have this common goal to come here and do this and to cheer each other on. And it is like a ball of psychedelic energy that is just everybody feeding and bouncing off of each other. And that that is just as powerful or more powerful than the practice of the cold plunge, but the gathering together to do that thing. It's like we have to go inward in order to find our power, but when we all find our own individual power together as a group, then this magic thing happens, and it's magnified. It's more than just 1+1+1+1. It's like, and it explodes. It creates ripples into the multiverse.
Yeah. A rising tide lifts all ships.
Yes.
And there is something, sort of co-regulating, I would imagine, as well, like
Sure.
it's similar to like when we're all, in a room breathing together, and the energy and the nervous system start to co-regulate. They start to add on to each other and help each other out. I would imagine, the energy doing the cold plunge in nature would be similar.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, we also have a weekly gathering where we get together and play drums and play music. And it's a lot of crossover from, our groups and the people that are interested and very committed to one or the other. But a lot of people come to all
of
the
it.
things.
Yeah.
And music is the same way. And, not to science out on the music, but like exact same thing. When we're drumming in rhythm, when we're playing in rhythm, our breath syncs to the rhythm, and then our breath are all synchronized, and we feel that portal of the music happen, and it's its own medicine, and it is that synchronization that you're talking about. So yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Earlier this week, I was talking with Adam about this wonderful book that Rick Rubin wrote earlier this year or last year. And it was funny when I was thinking about like bringing something in, or, bringing up something from the book. Because honestly, I love Rick Rubin. I've been a fan of his for years, but when I got this book, I really thought of you, Adam. Like, I was like, this is like, there's certain things where I see them, where I experience them, and then it reminds me of different people. And this book, I was like, oh yeah, this is like Adam here. And today I just kind of flipped open to a random page, and I was like, I was just kind of, I'm gonna trust in source to find me that right little piece. And the page I opened to says, talent is the ability to let ideas manifest themselves through you. And I don't know about you guys. I think that really fits.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And I think that is exactly what we're talking about, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's just trusting the universe. Like, I mean, we had that conversation. Like, when we get a thought, where was the thought before it dropped into you, right?
mm-hmm,
And some connection to the unified field, to that metaphysical, right?
mm-hmm.
And it's listening to that, to the universe, and it gives
Yeah.
you a little nugget, and that's unique to you. Just like Cutthroat Barbershop was just unique to me, and that was my vision. And I followed that, and it was just same with the energy stack and everything else. It's okay. Let's listen to this. Let's trust. We don't know what we're doing, yeah, but it was given to us, so we're gonna
Right.
be okay. We're gonna be supported.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
universe has got our back. So
Yeah, I like that. The talent is in bringing it through from the other side and, making it exist in this realm, whatever
Yeah.
that may be, whatever our art is, whatever it is we're creating, right?
I think about that often. It's like out of the, hundreds of thousands of ideas that I've had and that pass through my head, all the time. Why is it that these few like got plucked out and planted and they're continuing to grow? And I guess the potential there is that any idea, any thought could grow into that fully manifested, realization with action, right? But it's just so cool, like how that process of like, why is it that this particular idea is stuck,
Mm.
well, it's just like everything that's ever been created started by thought.
Yeah,
The airplane, the buildings, and plumbing, and you name it. The hand pan. Some guy, so, created a freaking
Sure.
hand pan out of a thought. And it's, so you're right. Anything is possible. Absolutely anything with action.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Everything begins with an idea, and then we water it with action, nourish it. So it's a really cool way to look at things.
Sure
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it is.
So what do you guys have coming up? Energy stack on a regular basis, and sounds like a new men's retreat coming up.
Yeah, we've got an energy stack tomorrow. We took a couple months off, at the end of the year. We did a little hibernation of our own
Yeah.
and took a rest. So this will be our first one since October, which is exciting, and we're back to where we started, which is fun. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah.
And we'll try to get back into our regular cadence from here. So we've got another one on
Second.
February 2nd at the Herc in Salt Lake.
Yep.
And then we're doing, and there's still spots for that one, so you want to go check that. And then the February 9th, we'll be in Tucson. We're doing it's kind of like a mixed event where Energy Stack is going on a field trip to hang out with Elemental Medicines, our buddy Jacob Kerr,
Yep.
who lives in Tucson and is connected. And in that community, he's our Ayurvedic buddy that is coming to the retreat. And so he'll bring his modalities and we'll mix together and create something there. And then we've got the men's retreat
Yep.
locked in at the end of the month, February 22nd
Yep.
to the 25th.
Yep.
And that's like what we have like on the books, right? There's still some room in the retreat that we're filling out.
Yeah.
And then we will obviously get back to our monthlies, and we want to get a men's container set out. I think, we'll roll that out at the retreat, I think is a good goal for us.
Yeah.
And we've both been active in our own type of men's work and together and separate things. And it feels natural for us to evolve into that step and bring some of that structure and create that container as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just seems needed. I don't run it, but I've been hosting a men's meeting, a AA meeting at my first location for 8 years. And that meeting happens every Wednesday at 8:00. And big book study, and the core, the group that goes there, I mean, these guys are like family. We spend birthdays together and we go to each other's weddings, and so like, I've personally seen the power of just a men's container, and just how needed it is for the masculine to come together and heal all the shit, heal all this stuff, all of these father wounds, and all these abandonment issues, and it's crazy how common it is. And so, that's just naturally where that void, what kind of presented itself, was just like, hey, the universe was like, why don't you guys do a men's container? And so, and that started with the men's retreat last year, which was incredible. And so, we dive in all our modalities. We have one night with psilocybin. We got a psilocybin ceremony. So we do a deep dive, which is epic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm excited to see this part grow. I think last year, maybe Mike saw the vision before me, but I saw it when we were there. I was like, oh, like we could really do this and make an impact. And we have a message, and I think that we're able to help others feel what we feel from each other, right? And that is easily commingled with a group, and it feels good to hold that space. Yeah. And I think it's important for us, and it just feels like a logical next step. And so in the game of not knowing what the step is until it reveals itself, and then we take it and we move and we try and we grow, that's right where we are, Yeah. And it's beautiful and it feels aligned, and so I'm stoked for this. Yeah.
Brotherhood.
Yeah.
It's important. It's an important piece.
Yeah, definitely.
Tribe, village.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I appreciate what you gents are doing, and creating that brotherhood. I also agree, it's really, really important. And so it's wonderful to see, men like you that are, walking their walk, and also, creating a path and a community for others.
Thank you.
Yeah. So definitely, if you're in the Salt Lake, or I guess just the Utah area, cause you can definitely come to that retreat. And even if you're not, you should definitely follow, both these guys, and the Energy Stack on Instagram and social media. They've got really great content, really wonderful. I always feel better like seeing, your guys' posts, and always inspiring to me. We'll make sure to put that on the show page. As a way to close, the name of the show is the Vital Point. And to me, like, my vital point is always that, regardless of the methods we're talking about, the important thing is we got to practice it. A recipe is not going to make you any less hungry if you just look at it and you don't actually cook. Is there anything in your lives that's alive right now, or just like a central theme in your work that's sort of that you'd like to share as your vital point?
I'll let you go first.
All right, I'll go. I think for me lately, something that I've really tried to come back to and really be present with is just my sitting practice, my meditation practice. It's easy for me to find myself doing all of these things and it's like signing off on them as my meditation practice, my breath work or my cold plunge or my music, and playing and getting into that meditative zone. And they all are their own, but sitting in silence and being present with my own thoughts and just the activity of watching my mind is something that I'm trying to come back to more and more and not forget that one. And I think that one is the most simple. You need no knowledge, no tools, no setup. You can do it anywhere. It doesn't need to be certain time or whatever. And it's just like, if I remember that one, if I get it going first thing in the morning and I sit for 10 or 20 minutes, my life is so different. And so that's, for me right now, I'll speak that out as that's the one I'm really trying to dial in and stay consistent with. And all the others seem to fall into place if I can stay there. So staying centered, getting into myself and sitting with myself is that right now.
Nice.
Yeah. I would say for me right now, I'm just in my cold plunge practice. Today was day 79.
Yeah.
And so I'm just really dialed in on that. I don't really have an end goal. Well, I'm going on a trip in March, and so more than likely it'll end then. But right now I'm just It just seems to help a lot of people too. I post it every day, make a story, and kind of have a little message there. And it's crazy how many people it's impacted. How many people message me for what kind of tub do you have? Where do you get that cover? And how long? And all the questions right around plunging. And so I have friends, back in Northern California that are plunging on Instagram. They're tagging me, and so it's just like I get an uplift from it, seeing these guys step into a cold plunge for the first time. So right now, I'm on my cold plunge practice. That's a very vital point for me. So
yeah, and us too. Thank you for posting and sharing every day.
Yeah.
Like I like to come through and be like, all right, what's the music today? I know Mike's out plunging. Okay, this is a cool song.
Yeah.
I dig that. It's a good check-in, and it keeps me accountable too. Even though I'm not posting or whatever. It's like every one of us are seeing it, and it's like, oh shit, all right, now I got to go do it.
As much as you plunge, you should get on there and post.
Yeah, I'll try.
Well, Mike and Adam, the Energy Stack, thank you so much for being here on The Vital Point, sharing your inspiration, your wisdom, your experience. And it's been a real pleasure to get to chat with you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. It was good to chat.
I hope you enjoyed this episode and found some inspiration. If you are liking the show, please take a moment and leave a review or a rating. It's a simple, cost-free way to show support and help like-minded people discover the show. Speaking of like-minded people, who do you know that you could share it with? That's an easy way to help out and keep the circle growing as well. Also, make sure that you come check us out on School. It's Blue Magic Alchemy on School, school.com/Blue Magic Alchemy. There's a lot of great stuff there, guided practices, live events, and a community. And thanks so much to Mike and Adam of the Energy Stack. You can find them on Instagram at the Energy Stack or www.theenergystack.org. Look them up, especially if you are needing some support in your men's work. And if you're into the cold plunging, man, they are some good people to connect with. Their Energy Stack events in Salt Lake City look really amazing, and I'm looking forward to joining one soon coming up here. So remember, it's not about the method that you are using or the pace at which you travel. The vital point is to consistently show up for yourself and practice. As the saying goes, it's not the destination, but the journey that truly matters. And I'm honored to be accompanying you on yours. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm just a DM, email, or review away. Let's journey, grow, and transform together. Thanks again for tuning in. Until the next episode, keep exploring, keep growing, and above all, keep practicing, because that's the vital point.